One thing I started to think about 10 years ago, and I started to put plans in about 5 years ago, but unless I get better or doctors treat me first, there's no way I can work real hard to accomplish this. So I've met one girl that had her eye popped out, came from another country that went through similar stuff to me. I also met another girl who ended up getting put on medication at 17 because she fist fighted her stepbrother and totally whatever they did to her, they really screwed her up, and there was a lot of abuse involved, but she never wanted to talk about it. And I met a couple other people in the orphanages who grew up with me who I saw got holed down, give doubled medications. I saw staff members do awful things. It just stuff happens, and that's not my problem. Those I have physical health issues due to a bigger issue. But I see a lot of people who have similar issues who still haven't got over the small stuff like being held down and having the same medication injected to you twice. I've had that happen to me and I'm over it. But that's only because I have more severe stuff that I haven't been treated for yet. Nobody's dealt with my mother ODing me or any of the illnesses I have. They've just tried to cover them up. So my issue is a little different. I've been able to work past being held down and given double medications. I've worked past the sexual encounters. I've worked past the beating with the ruler. I've worked past what's happened to me in the programs. I worked past what the kids did to me. I even worked past a 19-year-old at the age of issuing at me the age of 5, being held down and getting the same medicine twice at breakfast. Same medicine, same hour. Never supposed to happen. Can cause a lot of bad side effects in a child or an adult. Anyways, I know this is going on. So once when I get better and I move to South Carolina to live in the woods and stay away from people and work real hard, pay my taxes, one thing I plan on doing is a support group. I want to go online and I'm going to track down some of the people I know that need this type of support. And I want to start a support group for orphans who went through the system and ended up having to be drugged or had their mind affected or were held down and given double doses of medication, or for instance they were 17, they were a little bit dealing with teenage stuff, and then they had a fight with their stepbrother, and then they were held down, injected, they gave them too much medication, and when they came back they were a different person. They complained about stuff and nobody was listening. People need to be able to speak up about that. Now I'm over that. I just need the physical part. I need my nervous system to work. I need that diagnosed. People don't crawl on the road without diagnoses. People don't fall and get head injuries without diagnoses. People don't bleed in their testicles without diagnoses. And people don't pee or have black urine, their kidneys swollen, can't walk, screaming in pain without diagnoses. So that's my problem, is I have physical health problems and doctors aren't treating me. It took me a long time though to move past all the abuse and PTSD. I still have flashbacks to this day, and I'll have them for life. I remember every day, every time I wake up on the side of the road, why I'm like this. But there's a lot of people out there who haven't moved past just being held down by doctors or getting the wrong medicine or getting whipped around or going through an orphanage and being raped or stuff like that, and then nobody wants to listen or hear about it. They tell therapists, they tell doctors, nobody wants to hear about it because they're an orphan. Or they say, we don't have the funding, or we don't care. It happens a lot. I also met another girl from an orphanage who was on the streets and in a hospital that one of the staff kept on having sex with her. So she told another staff member, they punished her, so she jumped off a roof and broke her arm. This is going on, and that was in a Worcester orphanage for girls. This is very common. These teenagers and these children age 5 to 16 go through these orphanages, crimes get committed, they get held down with double doses, staff members touch them inappropriately, things happen. But then when they're reported, nobody cares. Nobody even wants to write it down in a report. So these people need a support group where they can go in a circle and talk about the stuff that happened to them. And I'm the perfect guy to do it because I've had more than enough abuse and horrible things happen to me, and I'm very open about talking about it. But I need I need to be able to walk. I need to be able to walk and talk at the same time, and I need to not fall down after if I try to stand up for 1 minute. I also need my strength. I'm going to need to be able to work. I'm going to need a doctor to actually do their job. I'm going to need my family maybe to help and take some responsibility for what happened to me, so that way I can help other people with support groups. I can move to South Carolina and do my own thing. I basically can live a life. Right now, all the doctors have been weaponized by a woman who died in 2011. I have a bullshit record that started at age 5, and no doctor will ever understand what's going on with me thanks to my mother's fake lies. Total bullshit lies that were clearly lies. And I even, when I was younger, I told everybody it was lies. But don't forget, if you drug your kid with medicines and you push for your kid to be mentally ill, and then the doctors don't want it, and you go to a different doctor, and then you go to a different doctor, and you push for your kid to be mentally ill, and then you try to drug him and make him actually disabled physically, and then you do all these twisted things, it's going to read like a mental illness, or nobody's going to get a proper read on your child. And that's for good reason. The doctor's only as good as the information you give them. So my mother gave information to get me hurt. So the doctors got me hurt. My mother tried to get information put down permanently that would make sure I never get the help I need. That's bad information, and it worked. Now I can never get the help I need. The guilt also ate her up. You could see this. So now I need physical help. I'm going to need some medication for epilepsy. I'm going to need a diagnosis so when I have a seizure on the side of the road, people know what to do. And I'm going to need to work real hard so I can move to South Carolina to a warmer climate so I seize less and have more of my movement. Then I can work real hard at a job, maybe hurt myself a little bit, but that's all right. I might get a little injured, but that's all right. It's better than getting a lot injured like I am now. And then we'll open up a support group, and I'm going to be always volunteering through churches and trying to help my fellow man, because that's not going to stop to the day I die.